Yes.
Gratefulness is choosing peace. And as much as you'd like to remind people verbally that being in the spotlight doesn't absolve you of your humanity, that you're allowed to have human moments.
Yes.
Rachel Zegler slams South Park for mocking Disney's Snow White. Did you catch Rachel Zegler, the rising star of West Side Story, taking on South Park for mocking Disney's new Snow White? It all started when South Park targeted Disney's inclusive approach, sparking a passionate response from Zegler. Fans are now divided. Are Disney's modern twists genuine or just pandering? Is this backlash justified, or is it revealing deeper issues in Hollywood's diversity push? Let's find out. Disney's live-action Snow White remake has been a wild ride from the start. Initially, everyone was thrilled when Rachel Zegler was cast as Snow White and Gal Gadot as the evil queen. But things quickly went south when Zegler made some bold remarks about the 1937 original. She criticized its outdated portrayal of women and even called the prince a stalker. Ouch. This did not go over well with die-hard fans of the classic fairy tale. Now, let's talk about how this drama exploded on TikTok. Almost 2 years ago, Rachel Zegler, fresh off her announcement as the lead in Disney's live-action Snow White, gave an interview at the 2023 D23 Expo, a Disney-centric event similar to Comic-Con. She shared her thoughts on the 1937 classic and how it's aged over the decades. In one interview, she described the dynamic between Snow White and the prince as weird and mentioned that the new story focuses more on empowering women rather than romantic love. She told Variety she's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. These comments and Zegler's Polish-Colombian background sparked a wave of criticism from online trolls. Some people were outraged that she wasn't a fan of the original Snow White, which they saw as disrespecting a beloved classic. This backlash was eerily similar to the hate Halle Bailey received for her role in The Little Mermaid. A quick scroll through social media reveals thousands of posts slamming Zegler's casting and accusing Disney of a PR crisis. But that's not all. Disney has also dropped the 7 Dwarves from the title for their 2025 live-action remake, but Snow White will still have reimagined versions of the 7 characters. Can you believe how much this has stirred things up in Hollywood? Before the news about the revamped characters even came out, Peter Dinklage criticized the whole idea of remaking Snow White, calling it outdated. This kicked off a big debate. But here's the real kicker. Disney announced that most of the 7 dwarves would be played by actors who don't have dwarfism. But how did people react? Some were upset, saying it was taking roles away from the dwarfism community. And of course, social media lit up with accusations that Disney was being too woke with their decisions to reimagine the dwarves. Despite all the backlash, it's worth noting that most of the controversy is based on surface-level details about the remake. Disney hasn't released any footage or plot details yet, even though the premiere is set for 2025. So what do we know? Rachel Zegler will star as Snow White, and the story will be updated to fit the 2020s. Now, just when you thought things couldn't get any more intense, enter South Park with their take on the situation. The show never shies away from controversy. In their special episode, they aimed directly at Disney's new Snow White. The trailer hints at a universe where the main characters, Stan Marsh, Kyle Broflovsky, Eric Cartman, and Kenny McCormick, are replaced by 4 women of color. Fans interpret this as a direct jab at the casting of Rachel Zegler. It was a clear jab at what the creators, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, saw as Disney's pandering to woke culture. And boy, did they go all in. They portrayed Disney's diversity efforts as nothing more than a superficial ploy, mocking the trend of big studios trying to appear more inclusive. The episode's title itself, Joining the Panderverse, was a sarcastic nod to this trend. This hit Rachel Zegler hard, and she didn't hold back. She took to social media to vent her frustration, adding fuel to an already blazing fire. It looks like 22-year-old Rachel Zegler isn't letting the haters get her down. She recently had a conversation with Halle Bailey for the Variety's Actor on Actor YouTube series, and the topic of online trolling came up. Remember when Bailey also faced a social media storm after being cast as Ariel in Disney's live-action remake of The Little Mermaid? Many people were upset about Disney choosing a black actress for the role, accusing the studio of being too woke. During their conversation, the two actresses shared how they handle the pressure and deal with trolls. Bailey mentioned, "People are so critical and say things online they would never say to your face." Zegler responded by saying, "Choosing thankfulness was choosing peace," she explained. "I feel so thankful for those moments because it made me feel like a solid Teflon. Nothing can hurt anymore because they've already said the worst. I just say, thank you so much. I have a lot of love in my life, and I'm very thankful. We get to do our work and let that speak for itself." Throughout her public comments, Zegler has consistently expressed her gratitude for the opportunity to play Snow White, while also noting that the new movie is taking a different approach to telling the familiar story. But how is the public reacting to this explosive controversy? Some people are applauding South Park for calling out what they see as Hollywood's disingenuous diversity efforts. They argue the show is simply holding a mirror up to what they believe is superficial pandering. On the other hand, there are those who side with Rachel Zegler, arguing that South Park crossed a line and failed to appreciate the genuine intentions behind the changes in Snow White. In the midst of all this drama, Disney's response to the backlash has been closely watched. The movie, which was originally supposed to come out in March 2024, has now been delayed to March 2025. This delay suggests there have been serious internal debates and a lot of reconsideration. Disney is trying to walk a fine line, balancing modern values with its classic storytelling legacy, a task that's proven to be quite challenging. But that's not all. Disney's strong focus on promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, in its content and workplace has really shaken things up. Movies like Strange World and Lightyear got a lot of heat and didn't do well at the box office because of their progressive themes, leading to some major financial losses. Disney itself has admitted that getting involved in culture wars and pushing DEI initiatives has put its reputation and brand at risk, impacting revenue across various sectors. Even though they've tried to cut production costs and streamline operations, they're still feeling the financial squeeze, partly because of their DEI goals. But how did Disney react when South Park took aim at them? Reportedly, Disney executives were shocked and embarrassed by the South Park episode. Sources say they felt a mix of betrayal and frustration as they watched. They anticipated some jabs from South Park, but the extent of the satire went beyond their worst fears. The strong reaction suggests that the episode struck a nerve, potentially exposing some uncomfortable truths that Disney executives may have been reluctant to face. The controversy around Snow White isn't an isolated case. It's part of a broader backlash against Disney's recent choices. The company has faced criticism from all sides, both progressive and conservatives, for trying to give its princesses more agency. Critics argue that these efforts often seem shallow and insincere, leaving fans disillusioned and feeling like Disney is pandering to certain ideals rather than focusing on good storytelling. In addition to the backlash from South Park, Rachel Zegler has dealt with significant personal and professional challenges because of her role in the Snow White remake. Insider reports like those from Mike Zero suggest that her outspoken comments and the resulting controversy led her to being dropped from several Disney projects, including a potential Snow White sequel. Furthermore, Zegler has been blacklisted by multiple Hollywood studios, with some firing her or refusing to work with her following the Snow White drama. Disney also removed her from projects such as the upcoming Pirates of the Caribbean. In response to this treatment, Zegler and her team, including her agent and manager, are now pursuing legal action. What a whirlwind of drama and controversy! Rachel Zegler's journey with Disney's Snow White remake has certainly been a roller coaster. As the debates rage on, one thing is clear. This story is far from over. Will Disney's modern take on classic tales resonate with audiences, or will the backlash continue to overshadow their efforts? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more updates and juicy stories from the entertainment world.